You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go.
Good morning. Listen, this morning we're going to talk about, we all know that our job is not who we are, but it is so easy to lose sight of that. We get so wrapped up in our jobs and what other people think of us, that it's easy to lose sight of who we are as an individual. I'm Cicely. This morning we're going to talk about how to separate who you are from your job and start to establish your personal brand. Look, whether you've been in your role for years or whether you're just starting out, we need to talk about how to break free from viewing your identity through the lens of your job. I'm Cicely. If you're new to these videos, join me every Monday and Thursday live for career tips and strategies that will skyrocket your career and help you reach a level of success that you desire. I see I have some folks joining me this morning. Thank you all for being here. I'll get to your questions and comments in just a moment. If you're watching this on the replay, I'd love if you left me a comment below, but also subscribe to my YouTube channel so you have access to all of these career training videos. Okay, so separating your self-worth from your job. That transformation is nothing short of profound. I see it in my clients every day. When you do the work to truly get in touch with who you are and what you have to offer that has nothing to do with your job, the results are life-changing. I heard that from a client last week. We've spent the last 6 weeks talking about his value and what he has to offer. And he literally said to me last week, he's never felt better about himself, but he also has such clarity about who he is and what he now offers that is totally separate from his job. The transformation is profound. So how do you reach that transformation? Let's talk about, first, you have to actually recognize that you have value separate and apart from your job. Now, if you say, Cicely, of course I know that. We know it, but we don't recognize it. Think about it. When someone asks you who you are, you usually answer that question through the lens of your job, don't you? Don't we usually answer who we are through our job, through the lens of our job responsibilities? I know I do. Do you do it? That just tells us that we are so inextricably linked to our jobs that it's hard for us to actually recognize that we have value that has nothing to do with the jobs that we're in. Think about it this week, how you answer that question, and you'll see we're conditioned to just answer those questions through our job responsibilities and our role. We've just been conditioned to tie our identity to our job, but nothing can be further from the truth. Second, now you've actually got to identify the value you offer. Look, I call these your value statements. I tend to go through 4 categories of value statements, but obviously there are others. But the idea here is you've got to do the work, identifying, answering the questions, what you have to offer that has nothing to do with your job. Because when you identify that value, that becomes universal. You carry the value you offer from job to job, role to role, industry to industry. This becomes about who you are And we take the job and the job responsibilities and completely strip those away. Now, I'm going to repeat, this is harder than you think. We've spent 6 weeks doing this, the group of clients who just signed on, and it's taken 6 weeks. We're actually doing week 7 tonight. This identifying your value and really breaking down what you have to offer, it starts with your strengths. But think about it. When people say, what are your strengths? We answer that question through our job. We answer that question through the lens of the role we have, the responsibilities we have. That's how we start breaking free, viewing our identity through the lens of our job. We start with the basics. What are the strengths that you offer that are personal to you? Take the job away. Who were you before you got in this job? Those are the critical questions we have to answer to start identifying the value that you offer. And once you do that, as I said that my client told me last week, the results are life-changing, but you have to do the work, because usually when I start asking about strengths, when I start asking, what do you do? Who are you? What are you good at? And people answer that in terms of their job. I'm like, hang on. Tell me who you are and leave your job responsibilities out of it. I tend to get dead silence after that, because they've got to think, what is she asking me? What is my value that has nothing? Who am I outside of my job? Those are critical questions that we have to answer. Third, how you build that personal brand is you take those 4 categories, those value statements we just talked about, after you answer those critical questions, and you start to now articulate your differentiators. Your differentiators are those value statements, because that's what you bring to the table that no one else does. It's what sets you apart from others around you. But once you identify the value, the part of establishing your personal brand has to be articulating it, talking about it. That's the other piece you have to get comfortable with. It is the articulation of who you are, what you bring to the table, and what differentiates you from others. Once you start to find power in those value statements and how you start to articulate why that is your personal brand, that is how you start to establish who your brand is and who people see you as and how they will view you. But it has to start with recognition, then identification, and then you develop the personal brand itself. It literally is those 3 steps in that order. But please hear me when I say it takes some work, but the transformation that you will receive is so worth it. I have a client who just signed on last week who wants to leave their job and go into another job. But they really want to start to say, okay, what can I take to that next role? What do I have to offer? Cicely, help me figure out what my value proposition is, because I've been in this job for so long, I don't even know if I know anymore. It's powerful to discover who you are, what value you offer outside of the role you have every single day. It's time for you to break free from that 9-to-5 mentality and get in touch with the value that you have to offer. So I see that we have some comments here. Let's jump into those. I see we have a lot of great comments. Chris, good morning. Looking forward to this. Great. Thank you, Chris, for being here. Eileen, it's Monday morning. Thanks, Eileen. It is a Monday morning indeed. Chris, you're highly inspired. Listen, this topic, Chris, it inspires me and it inspires others once they do the work. But man, doing the work can be tough. I wish I could just put you guys over my shoulder for one of my coaching calls and just show you how profound that transformation is. Good morning, Melissa. Thanks for being here. You love this topic. That's awesome. Robin, thank you. Thank you. Great topic as well. Eileen says, clarity is truly important by recognizing your talents and what you have to offer to the world. Eileen, it's so true. I just did an interview last week and someone said to me, how have you transitioned from the legal field and wanting to be a prosecutor and starting to be a prosecutor into politics, and then politics into corporate America, and then corporate America into business. And how have you navigated all of those transitions? And I said, I know my value. My value is so independent of any job, any title, any position that I have. I know how to get the job I want because I articulate what I bring to the table and how it benefits my audience. That is the secret sauce that I've used to be able to transition from industry to industry, career to career, and be able to skyrocket my growth as well. Chris, good morning. Different Chris. We are so conditioned to identify with our job because we often hear the question, what do you do? That's often the first question I get when I meet someone for the first time. Chris, same thing here. I always get that question, what do you do? Especially in DC. I mean, I'm still in politics every day, and everybody there wants to know, what do you do? Because the idea is, how can you help me? So I am so conditioned to answering that question as well, but I now answer it differently than I would have previously, to really understanding the value proposition and how you answer that question more fully through who you are and not your job, Chris. So I get that question all the time as well. You might find it interesting to note that the things we loved between 7 and 12 years of age are often indicative of our life's work. Melissa, I agree with that. I posted this a couple of weeks ago. I wanted to be a lawyer since I was 8. I actually wanted to be the first Black female Supreme Court justice. Obviously, Mr. Biden didn't pick me. The confirmation hearings are starting today. I am not being confirmed, but my life's work of advocacy, self-advocacy, you're right, was formed at a very early age. So that's an interesting stat, the 7 to 12. I didn't realize that, but I am definitely living proof of that. Everybody thought I was weird because I knew at age 8 what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. How wrong was I about that? How can one get info on your coaching calls? Yeah, great question, Chris. I'll link to it below, how you can reach out to me to get on my calendar to talk about how to identify your value. What is your unique value proposition in your personal brand? So I'll link to that below. I'll also link to the monthly coaching mastermind program. We call ourselves masterminds because we're coming out of this and we're doing some serious work and going to come out of this much better for it. I'll link to that below as well. Melissa, so that can be part of the questioning around what is your value proposition. Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. I loved that interview. Awesome. Thank you for listening. I appreciate that. Robin, over the years, I have discovered a totally new person deep inside of myself. Our life's challenges have a way to solidify what we understand. Robin, I could not agree more. I just concluded a one-on-one session. Someone's in the group coaching program, but she asked for my advice. We've been talking offline in one-on-one sessions. She just got fired from her job in January. And as we've sort of really broken down, I guess is a good word. I mean, we've really gone through some painful exercises, Robin, and I think it underscores your point that she now realizes she's a totally different person than what she used to be. And she is also now informed by that experience of getting fired, being in a toxic work environment. But she now sees herself so much differently than she told me, had she done this exercise 2 years ago. But she really struggled with answering the value proposition. She really struggled with identifying the value and the strengths. So we walked through it, but you're so right. We can evolve as who we are as a person, and that has nothing to do with our jobs. Eileen, the hardest thing is to figure this out for yourself. It is. It honestly is. Yeah, that's exactly, Eileen, you're right. That partnership is why I start my coaching program with this question. It's why we've spent 6, tonight will be 7 weeks, I think, on this topic. It is so foundational to who you are. You're never going to grow in your career. I say skyrocket your career growth. It's not going to happen until you get in touch with who you are, so that you walk in any door, you take your seat at any table, and you walk in comfortable in your own skin and knowing the strength and power and the voice that you have to offer. So I completely agree with that. Melissa, Biden's smart enough. Well, in his defense, I don't think he knew that at 8 I wanted to be a Supreme Court justice. I don't know that anybody knows that. Melissa, firing. Yeah, firing is tough. Firing is a gift. Melissa, you're right. I actually, firing is a gift. Yeah, I just did a video on this 2 weeks ago. I'll link to it below. Getting fired was the best thing that ever happened to me. I knew my value proposition before that. But talk about getting absolute click. Well, first of all, it shakes your confidence. Let's just be honest. But once you get past the confidence being shaken and you really get in touch with who you are and what your purpose is meant to be, then you realize, you know what, getting fired was a way to get me out of that job and out of a toxic work environment that I should have left a long time ago, but it took getting fired to leave. Even though I was wildly successful, I was still walked out the door. Best thing that ever happened to me. Melissa, oh, thank you, Melissa. I appreciate it. Look, it's a blessing for me to be able to share my experiences with other people. So I'm grateful. I am truly grateful for that opportunity. So I assure you the blessing and pleasure is all mine of being able to coach my clients. I see one more comment coming in over here. I just want to make sure it's captured on screen. It's actually coming in on a different feed. Okay. All right. Best thing that happened to us. Yes, it absolutely can be. So look, you've seen the dialogue this morning. I don't think I see any more comments or questions coming in, but you've seen through this dialogue this morning, people who are here, thank you for being here live and for your questions and comments. There is true, profound power in getting in touch with the value that you offer, your self-worth, who you are, your identity, and separating that, pulling that apart from your job. And yes, I actually do this hand motion often because I'm trying to tell my clients, no, and separate it from your job. And the answers they give, we've got to go a couple levels deep to really get to the heart of those answers. But like I said, that work, that transformation they do, it's so profound, and you can have the same profound transformation as well. So as Chris mentioned, look, I'll link below. If you want to talk about where you are in your career and how to start really identifying your value and your personal brand, I'll link below how you can get in touch with me. Leanne, thanks for joining. Hey, I loved getting laid off, a total gift. Yeah, I think a lot of us share that. We share that experience. Absolutely. We absolutely share that experience. And what a life-changing moment that has been. Again, painful in the moment. As someone said to me last week, they went through 4 or 5 a range of emotions in one, in a span of a period of time, but came out so much better on the other side. Leanne, that is the headline for this morning. It is so important to view yourself as yourself and not through the lens of your job. I could not agree more. So I'll link to additional free resources below. Oh, good morning, Lauren. Thanks for joining. Leanne, I was driving as usual. No problem. Lauren, thanks for joining. Appreciate you being here. Listen, yeah, that's why I do this actually, Leanne, at 9:30 in the morning. If you're driving to work or you're just getting to work, look, join me. You can just put on your AirPods or your headphones. You can join the conversation every Monday and Thursday. So yeah, if you're driving to work or you're in the car going to an appointment, join me anyway. I'd love to have you, and you can always leave a comment. Hopefully not as you're driving, but maybe later as you're as you come back and want to leave a comment below. So thank you all for being here this morning. I will link to some additional free resources in the comments below. I will also link to the resources we've talked about here this morning. If you found value in this video, I'd love if you shared it with someone, and I'd love if you left a comment below. I am here every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 a.m. I look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Have a great Monday. Have a great week. Let's find the value that you offer that differentiates you from others and watch that profound transformation happen in your life and in your career.
You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but but babe, you're wrong.